a Ben 10 creepypasta read. Since my last video was absolute dog shit and I haven't posted in a while. Alright. Cartoon Network used to be my favorite channel on television ever since I was capable of thought. The top of its hordes of great cartoons was Ben 10 Classic, evidenced by being one of the highest grossing series in general, as well as spawning a franchise of its own. As such, it does have a lot of merchandise outside the show, much of which has been lost along the years. The unreleased What If episode called Max the Monster belongs to such obscurities. Honestly, I might have never been able to access this artifact had I not applied for a job as a storyboard artist almost 2 decades after the show released at Cartoon Network Studios in California. I found the CD file in a box of scraps during my overtime hours at night shift, managing to open it on the laptop and copy it on my phone. Right as I opened the file on my home, the screen displayed red subtitles, Eyes Only. The episode opens up with a scene where the Rust Bucket and its battering ram formed from secrets and ultimate weapons is driving in an overgrown forest, cleaving its path through trees and animals. The shot pans to a person behind the wheel, Miss Max Tennyson, with a wrathful expression on his face. Instead of the usual red flowered patterned Hawaiian shirt, he's wearing a black leather jacket, black pants, and high boots. The Rust Bucket is shown again, this time from the backside, with much of its antennas torn off, with a massive orange-skinned alien chained to its roof. The more nostalgic fans of the show may recognize him as a volcanist, a Detroit criminal who used to work with 6-6 and Galactus Enforces. Episode, he lacks his usual brown-red armor, laying unconscious in the underpants that his sequel self would wear after his armor's destruction. Max paths his modified 6-wheeler in a random ditch amidst the forest, equipping himself with his exosuit gloves from the second -10 episode. While mostly blacked out, there's a brief shot with barely visible fronts of the Rust Bucket, showing what looks like a head of a deer wrapped around it. Max lifts Volcanus and carries him deeper to the forest. A moment later, he leaves the criminal on a wide tree trunk, getting back to the Rust Bucket, where we took a bag of tools for whatever dark plans he had for him. As this happens, a random squirrel walks with the Volcanus' unconscious body, only to be shot dead by Max with a plumber pistol. Immediately afterwards, Max puts his bag down, taking a rather large blade from it. He climbs on top of the Detroit and stabs him in the chest, struggling to widen the cut. Eventually, Volcanus' chest caving in opened, revealing human-like organs similar to the ones seen in Vilgax's massacred corpse from Ben 10,000 episode. Grandpa pulls them, stuffing them into the child-sized kegs filled with unknown blue liquid. When he is done, Max digs a hole about 15 feet in depth, showing Volcanus into it, or shoving him, before filling it with sulfuric acid, causing Detroit's flesh to dissolve. Tennyson's eyes twitches as he proceeds to bury his victim with the modified shovel. Right before the intro plays, he looks to the camera, motionless with a cold expression on his face. The opening song of the episode felt drastically short compared to the actual episodes. It had clips of the 3rd season, such as Upchuck posing triumphantly in The Visitor, Forums lifting the cows from under wraps, Upgrade attacking helicopters in Midnight Madness, and I could swear I saw a clip of Digger in prototype version of Wildland. A segment numbering aliens was also cut off. The action proper starts with Grandpa Max's normal outfit driving to Carl in Santria's Tennyson's home, like in the pilot episode, to pick up Ben for summer vacation. Benjamin complains, not really talking, but you could tell from his body language he was far from happy, as per usual, but gets on the board anyway, his frustration growing upon seeing his cousin Gwen inside the Rust Bucket. For a single frame, color inverts and glitches, with half the screen being replaced by a clip of the Great One's murder at pauses a cannonball from the big tick, specifically the part where he rams through its heart. It goes back to normal as the rust bucket takes off, with Ben's parents waving their hands at the trio. As that happens, the action goes into space, where Shermission Hammer, Vilgax's ship, is fighting against Exilion's ship, the latter of which is destroyed, with Omnitrix being sent to Earth in a small pod. Soon after, Ben is seen wandering around the forest. As it happens, the after-mentioned pod crashes a few feet before Benjamin, who discovers an Omnitrix, which lashes onto his left wrist. Unsuccessful attempt to take it off later. Tennyson pops a dial and forearm's silhouette is displayed. With no one looking, Ben brings his hand onto it, slamming the Omnitrix and transforming. Instead of the standard transformation sequence being displayed, the episode shows a slideshow of what looks like a storyboard, with each of Ben's arms splitting into two and him gaining a red skin color. He did not pose, freaking out instead. For a moment, he starts frantically running around, screaming for help until he crashes into a tree. A floral structure breaks off with the forearms being unharmed. To his surprise, he is able to lift a piece of it with ease. Throwing a massive distance, he continues to do so until the shot goes to Grandpa Max, having a dinner consisting of deep-fried cockroaches for Gwen. All of a sudden, a tree crashes just a dozen feet away from the rust bucket and Gwen freaks out. However, Max keeps a cool head, calculating the tree's trajectory back to its original source. Gwen accidentally stumbles upon forearms deep in the forest area. A Tetraman turns toward her, and the girl screams, discovering a hard blow to his thigh with a baseball bat. Alien really laughed at it, hanging Gwen on a tree by her pants. Soon afterwards, Forearms times out, and Grandpa Max arrives, helping Ben's cousin to get off from a tall structure. The next scene shows all three Tennysons sitting around the fireplace, although no dialogue is heard. In fact, there's no dialogue all throughout this entire episode, just stock screams and grunts. All of a sudden, two regular machinery droids appear, blasting the place with red lasers. Ben dodges them and turns the Ghost Freak, making short work of them with sharp claws and chest tentacles. With both drones destroyed, a ghost alien senses something on the ground. He phases through, finding a skull of Volcanus from the beginning of the episode. Max is baffled and tries to weasel his way out of this situation, lifting remains of one of the drones and taking them to the rust bucket. His grandchildren look at each other in confusion. Before Ghost Freak relocates his eye, making Gwen scream, he then times out. Inside his motorhome, Max is seen dissecting Vilgax's drone. Studying its inside, he cuts off the tendril meant to infuse with organic material, which was encased in the allies before scanning the core. As that happens, Ben and Gwen walk into the rust bucket with demanding expressions. Not long after, a radio shows a montage of massive attack drone demolishing the campus. Ben and Ray select Forearms again, only to transform the Snake instead. He flies out of the vehicle, but Max stops Gwen from leaving. The action cuts to the aforementioned campus, where 40 feet tall, trimensional humanoid robot is blasting lasers from its hands at the random spots. It picks a random bystander until it hears a sound of stink flying nearby. It is blinded by 3 sticky goo, unable to defend itself as Leoparduranium rams his stinger tail into the robot's head. Just before the collision, the shot straight away cuts to Gwen being stabbed in the head by Max with an axe, rupturing her skull and showing up brain matter. This caused me to pause the video the first time I watched the episode to go to the bathroom and puke down my toilet. Upon resuming, Max shoves his hand into Gwen's head, moving parts of her brain and putting them on an operating table. The action goes back to the campus with Stinkfly using his goose spit and brute strength to rip out parts of the massive robot. At one point, he dismembers it and shoots the drone with its own laser, blowing up its torso.
The crowd cheers, but something is wrong. One of the adults in the crowd had 3 eyes on his face, while the other waved a hand with 7 fingers. Soon afterwards, a leopard terrarium flies out of the frame, timing off screen. Next scene shows Ben walking back to the rust bucket with Max and Gwen having dinner outside. Oddly enough, Gwen looked as though nothing had happened. This time, the old little Tennyson serves a nice meat covered in larvae. Ben looks in disgust while Gwen is eating with appetite, instead of her blank facial expression. Boy tries to walk back to the vehicle, but Max all of a sudden violently slams into the table, stabbing with the knife in his hand. The most surprising thing about this behavior is Gwen's reaction to it, or rather, the lack of it. Almost as if another took place, Benjamin screams only amplifying Grandpa's anger, and Max drags his grandson to the forest. At first I thought he would kill him, but he did not. Instead, Max picks up feces from his bare hands and forces him down Ben's throat. His kicks and trashing does not face the old man in the slightest. And when he reaches for the Omnitrix, Max snaps his arm. When Ben finally gives in and swallows undigested matter, Max continually beats him for what it seemed like half the episode. Finally, the scene goes to the rust bucket with horribly bruised Ben on top of the bunk bed, with Gwen sleeping below him. Meanwhile, Max is working on one of Vilgax's drums, with Gwen's phone laying shattered on the table next to him. Soon after the shot goes to mutilated Vilgax inside his healing chamber. He looks completely different from the show. He appears to be CGI. Majority of both of his legs are gone. Right arm is reduced to bone with exposed muscles, whereas left got dismembered about halfway through his forearm. His body had visible third-degree burns and exposed cranium, with the respiratory covering his mouth. One of his robotic crewmen walks up to him and for a while simply stands there. Shermer Sua Generous soon gets frustrated, grunting in annoyance only for the crewman to blow up. Shot soon pans out, revealing different sections of Chamberation hammer, with robots crackling with electricity before exploding. Vilgax screams his iconic "No!", which appeared to be reduced from Secret's climax. Without anyone controlling the ship, German hammer crashes down to Earth, pulverizing Mount Rushmore and killing dozens of people. As that happens, Vilgax's healing chamber is shattered. His mutilated body falls out. A day later, Rosebugger is moving at high speed to a rapid city, which was pulverized by Chermichin's hammer's explosion. Ben and Gwen simply lay in the back seats, seeming unconscious. The further he drove, Max's face became covered with sweat, while his lips curved, revealing his teeth grit. Paying no attention towards demolished buildings or dead people, he drove over, hastily avoiding the rubble. The driving scene continued with the screen flickering in different colors. During one of these, I paused the video and noticed what looked like a CGI version of an old guardian, seemingly swimming in the pool and rendered fully full of blood. Max's face was completely off model, sporting a mechanic expression as he stopped the rust bucket. He shouted to his grandchildren to get out at once, and so they did. Gwen walked as if she was a wind-up toy, whereas Ben stumbled towards the door, looking as if he spent the whole night puking. Their stroll had come to an end when they reached the Chamberation hammer. Max walked on aboard, finding Vilgax still alive in spite of his terrible injuries. The Chinchon pod warlord had no further strength to fight back as the plumber approached him with the same numerous blade from the beginning of the episode. You can guess what happens next. I thought he was just going to cut him to pieces and eat. But nothing like that ever happened. Instead, Max drags Vilgax out of the ruins of his once great ship, strapping him to the back of the rust bucket. Unbeknownst to him, Ben already transferred and accelerated a Plutosaur-like creature with powers to move at extreme speed when he used to escape with Gwen. Max only paid no attention to it, walking to his vehicle and activating the tracking system. Much like Vilgax in Secrets, he was going to track Ben through his signal his Omnitrix gives off while turning to an alien. Accelerator routes with Gwen's at the edge of town,
running on the walls, stopping at the top of the building. As he unhands his cousin, we heard a girl suddenly takes a knife out of her pocket and stabs in the chest. Stiller pushes her away and rips it out, weakly collapsing on the floor. Grinning coldly, Gwen lifted him by the neck and jumping off the building. Her rust bucket's sunshade like in the episode Kraken. Max looked far from pleased. He rolled accelerate with his foot, touching the omnitrix symbol on his chest, turning back the human. A mutilated Vilgax was still present at the back of the vehicle, which shows off as her LE testing lifted Ben and Gwen and walked Gwen in. The episode's climax had Max performing the surgery on all three characters. He cuts Gwen open, removing organs from her body and placing them in Vilgax's chest. He transplants his Ben's eyes, facial skin, and arms into the body of his former arch enemy. Because Vilgax still had no legs, Max made wooden dentures with Gwen's feet, shoved them into him. As a cherry on top, he opened Gwen's head, revealing a cybernetic drone placed worrying that was implanted during Stingfly's fight, which he placed into Vilgax. When he was a drone, or done, Max hits his terrible creation furiously with a drill, before electrocuting it until hybrid monsters stood up, towering over the entire home. The abomination formed a horridous smile across its burned face, making a horrible, distorted screech that will haunt me for the rest of my life.
And Vera is innocent. So confident entirely towards a camera. With subtitles cheese in the story. On a shot before the credits showed a little painted photograph of Max Henson, the bloodiest surgeon outfit, standing next to buildings and parts of Ben's bodies. The credits themselves rolled in as a complete silence, showing a usual name of the crew. Alex Soto for supervising producer, Nolan Albrita for art director, Andy Scummer for score, and so on. However, there's no information on the writers. I tried several times to upload this episode on video sharing platforms like YouTube, Dailymotion, Internet Archive, Newgrounds, and Wikimedia Commons. However, I only got the scenario screen. Wrong file type.
So, to summarize the story, basically, Grandpa Max is apparently a bad type of guy, but he's killing you. What's his name? Volcanus, right? And I don't understand why he's like bad. I mean, is he rooting for it? Like, why did he kill Gwen and try, beat up Ben? Like, what was his motive? Like, was he a good guy or a bad guy? Like, I don't know. It's kind of, he doesn't really give a reason for it, which, doesn't make sense. But, so the episode's called Eyes Only, when the guy found it, which I don't know what that's supposed to exactly mean. Maybe like Grandpa's watching, or like how he put the eyes in Vilgax, like Ben's eyes, and Ben's watching. Yeah. So basically, when Grandpa picks up Ben and Gwen, it's a little different. Like, I think he got picked up at Ben's house, but in the original, he got picked up by a tree. It kind of feels like a pilot episode, like an actual pilot episode, like a pre-draft of it instead of like the original. But later, before I get to that, let's go to the intro. So basically, the draft episode, it's Upchuck posing triumphantly in the visitor, forms eating cows in their wraps, Upgrade attacking helicopters, and then I can swear I saw Digger. So, if you don't know Digger, he's a prototype version. Before they're doing aliens, it's kind of like humanoid aliens, so Digger was a concept, basically. Which, it makes sense, though, because it is also a pre-pilot episode, so they probably show clips like that. Anyway, so then it starts off with, or later, I forgot about this part. Vilgax's ship is fighting these alien ships, so it's kind of like the original a little bit. And then Ben finds it, and he, instead of turning into heat blast, he turns into forms, which is pretty different, that's for sure, unlike the original. and and then Gwen comes in there, hits him with a bat, and then he laughs, giggles, or whatever the fuck. Because for some reason there's no voice actors, which is kind of cool. Because like, if you think about it, Cartoon Network and voice actors wouldn't really know about this episode. It's probably like a couple people thing, and they kept it secret. Like it's not official. But that's why there's no voice actors like grunts and moans and other stuff, like also retaking voice clips. So that's pretty cool. But later, when Ben turned the ghost rig, I don't remember why. Why did he? I think he turned the ghost rig to mess with Gwen again. But basically, then after that, he bends the season of drone, right? And then he goes for it, and then right there, Max runs at Gwen and just fucking cuts her head off. And the guy reacting to this who found the CD obviously took in his toilet. It makes sense. I wouldn't want to see that shit either. But then after that, it cuts back to Ben, and he's Stinkfly this time, by the way. Which is also different too, because originally it was Diamond Head, not Stinkfly. So he defeats a robot. He then comes back, and then Gwen's like a fucking like mindless, just not caring. Because when Ben sees the little the whatever food Grandpa Max made, the disgusting worms or maggots, whatever, he's like disgusted. So he tries to go in the roast bucket. And then for some reason, I think Max got pissed off that he didn't eat the thing, because maybe it was like something that was planned. And then he grabs Ben, drags him to the forest, and then makes him eat some disgusting shit. And Ben tries to turn into an alien, but he snaps his wrist, which I feel like the Omnitrix should have something for that. Like, I don't know, blow up, because when like you think about that, like, he could just break his other hand so he can't turn into an alien. Like, it should automatically turn into an alien, just in case of that. Dirt. But anyway, I mean, Ben could have probably transformed before when he was getting dragged. But whatever. Anyway, so he then got beaten. I'm surprised. So the thing is, though, when he went back to the rust bucket, his hand wasn't broken earlier. You'll see, because you literally heard it. But anyway, so then Max goes to the city, and there's a bunch of death bodies and all that, another pile, and he basically then finds Vilgax's ship, which is crashed and broken and all that, and he just brings Vilgax, but then he didn't expect it. I mean, he kind of did, but Ben turns into an alien into Accelerate, right? And then he grabs Gwen and leaves. But the thing is, I thought his arm broken. How the hell did he turn into an alien? Like, you can't just heal immediately. That's a little, not talked about. Like, should writer have never thought about that, Or maybe Ben just, like, figured out a user without his hand. Maybe just, like, put his mouth or lip or something on the dial, and then just, he couldn't turn it, he just slams on it. I mean, I guess I could see that happening, but it's just an excuse to, buff that part out. But anyway, he then runs with Gwen, which, she's a robot, so she then stabs Ben, which there are so many reasons I don't understand this. I mean, yeah, it wasn't Ben's fault bringing her because he didn't know she was a robot or mindless, whatever. First of all, Accelerate is so fucking fast. Didn't he stop time once, like, in midair? So, how the hell did he not see that knife coming? Maybe because, like, he didn't expect it from a relative, I guess, but you can still see it happening. Like, he's so fucking fast. And second of all, even if he got stabbed, doesn't he have armor? Like, that's literally armor, that's not his skin. Unless she stabbed his arm, but that's just like, I don't know. That wouldn't really work that well. And anyway, so, I mean, even if she did stab somehow through the armor or the hand or whatever the hell, I don't think Accelerate would be that weak just to pull it away and then fall on the ground. Like, dude, come on. You were a powerful alien. How the fuck would you fall down? that easily. But whatever. So then Max comes over, just turn off the not I was about to fucking say Xbox. Okay. Anyway, he turns off the Omnitrix and then just takes Ben and Gwen to his rust bucket. Same with Bogax, dude. And he just fucking cuts him up like a goddamn scientist. And then puts eyes and facial into Bogax, which is Ben's body parts. Same with Gwen with their legs and all that. And creates Frankenstein kind of thing. The thing is, like, why is he doing this? Like, there's no reason to. It's like I don't know why the creator didn't, make a reason for this. Like, what was all over this point? He killed his grandchildren for what? To make a fucking Frankenstein type fucking whatever the fuck? Bogax? Like, what? Here's the thing at the end. So, then, when it's an Aunt Vera, next to the cheese is fucking a picture of Max with the doctor outfit with all blood all over him next to Bogax and his creation of Ben and Gwen, pieces of it, of Bogax on him. But, like, first of all, does Aunt Vera give a shit about Gwen and Ben? Like, does she know? Like, why does she have a picture of that? What the fuck? Like, I don't understand that. Or does she just, like, is she a part of it? But, like, I don't understand that part. It's a little confusing. Like, huh? Like, I'm reading it again. The credits, yeah, like, what? Also, how would the FBI and the police not know about this? Like, at all? Especially with the fucking clear picture in her house. Like, how is he not arrested? I don't care for shit if it's a plumber. Even then, actually, he's a plumber, so how did he not get fired for this? How did he not get in trouble about the plumbers in the first place? I don't understand, but whatever. At the end of the day, it's just CREEPYPASTA. And I did like it, though. I loved it. It was pretty good. Some parts didn't make sense. Some parts are not so great. But most parts I liked a lot. So, if I were to rate this, probably like a 7 out of 10, or 10, either a 7 or an 8 out of 10. Honestly, this is a good creepypasta. I had fun reading this, dude. But that's it. So, adios, and hope you got I don't fucking know. Creep the fuck out.